This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Those of you with a long enough memory will probably recognise that backing track that I was playing over there as being the one that featured in a bit of an overdrive shootout last year sometime, back end of last year, November-ish I think it was. Basically, the thing of that video was I just wanted to play the same melody like a bunch of different times with different overdrive tones. I think I was using the high gain channel on the Marshall DSL-1 for one of the gain tones that are featured in the original video. Then it was the clean channel with a tube screamer in front of it. Then the clean channel with a new Ex-Horseman kind of clone style pedal in front of it. I'll link to that video down in the description amongst many of the links that will be down there today. Anyway, that was what I originally used that jam track for. And by the way, that solo there, you'll find a full tab in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track for you to play along with for yourself, all is as usual upon my Patreon page. Address on screen, link in the description. As I'm sure you know, $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies and resources that go along with these YouTube videos. But anyway, that aside, I was having a chat with my old pal Steve Hoggart, who's been on this channel a bunch of times, and the idea of sort of a pro versus amateur mixing kind of thing came up, because I'm very much the amateur. Everything I know about mixing and recording has just been I've learned by trial and error over the last 25, nearly 30 years of doing a bit of home recording, starting off back in the mid-90s with a Fostex cassette-based 4-track, and before I kind of went on to the sort of DAW environment that we always use now. And I think I've picked up enough knowledge along the way to kind of get by. But Steve has been to college to learn how to do it properly, and since leaving college many years ago, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, he's now in a position where he's a college lecturer in music technology, as well as being a producer, a studio owner, session musician. He's basically done it all and knows it all. So I thought it would be interesting to see how my take on doing a mix differs from his. So this is going to be a long one today, so if you want to hit the pause button and go and make yourself a sandwich and a cuppa, or maybe if it's the right time of day, go and pour yourself something a little bit more invigorating, shall we say, and settle down for Steve's version of the mix, and then you'll see my amateur efforts.
Now then, you lovelies, our John of Mr. John Robson fame has sent me him ages ago, actually. I've just been a bit of a lazy get doing this. Said, could I have a go doing a mix as I would? And our John works in Reaper, so let us get Reaper opened up. Telling me there that Reaper's not free. I know if I use it more than twice in a lifetime. Some of the features I really like, they're dead cool. First thing I'm going to do, I'm not a big know me way around Reaper dead well. Have a listen to the track. Bit of all. See what we've got. And loads of bits. Right, cool. They're all tremendous. Let's put a different drum kit on. Remove that and then add one. I think you can go down to VST Instruments. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you can. Look like I know what I'm doing. Add that in. All I really want to do is I can see there's another MIDI track on there as well. Let's have a little look what's going on here. Cool. They're all working. So what I'm after for doing this, so I'm going to go through like reamping in the box as well with it. So I'm going to export everything. Let's quickly turn all the stuff here that we don't need to worry about. There's going to be some shortcuts somewhere that somebody will point out to me, which would be lovely and tremendous. There is. I thought there was another one. So there's an organ. Where does that come in? Comes in on bar 17. So, organ. Bar 17. I have some notes here from here's one we made earlier. Right. File. Export project MIDI. So I'm just going to browse, find the folder as the entire project, multi-track MIDI file type 1, because if you do it as a type 0 it all glues together, which wouldn't be very good at all. So I'm having a look here. There's Gary Moore style ballad for Steve, call that 01 just in case I've got one saved somewhere else. I have had a play with this before, and that'll save all my MIDI. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to there's a bit in here somewhere that says export. I'm going to select all the tracks first, I think. Yeah, let's shift here. I love how all the DAWs don't follow any kind of conventions. Hey, good though. Go up the top, turn all these off. Press the wrong button. See, Reaper Guru, there I am. Oh, that was a nice little shortcut that I didn't know you could do. So if you've got everything selected and you hit one of them, it turns them all off. There's like bits now. I'm working with Pro Tools at college. I love it for recording, but not for editing. I think I've lived in Cubase too long. Anyway, let's get these files bunged over in a bunged over kind of way. So consolidate, export tracks. I want the entire project, all tracks. Excellent. Okay. Process that. Seemed very quick. Let's hope that that's worked. What I'll do beforehand, just to see what's gone into that folder, is I'll have a look at not DaVinci Resolve folder. Let's have a look in the old project folder. So way down for John Robson, Sal Ballard, exported bits. Nothing in there, so I've put them in the wrong place. Oh, there they are. All the WAV files there, all the bits that go with the WAV file, and there's the MIDI there. Right, there endeth the Reaper bit. Let's see if these all dump in. While I'm on, because I know Reaper does some little bits where it only exports actual audio bits. So what you've got to do is make sure you've got your tempo, 75 BPM, and your time signature, which is 6/8. And I'll bung them into a Cubase type thing. So what you can see here is I've got a lot of these are what we call templates to get me started. So that's like me 2023 indie band start. That's me October. There's Snyder Marks one, local punk band. Floral Evil Blood, that's a heavy metal one. I should label them a little bit more. So what I've got to do now is I've got prompt for project location. So where am I going to save it? And it's taking us to our John Robson, Gary Moore style ballad. I'm just going to put it at the top like that, so the audio folder will then go in that folder. So what it's doing now is it's pulling all the settings and things that I've got. So you can see there it's loading up drum tracks and things as it's rattling through. This is because if I want to record a full band, I've got everything set up and ready to go. Well, I'm just mixing here. So what the first thing that we're going to do is, I think I might just leave them there actually, and because I might refer back to them a little bit. But the template itself means that I've got all my effects. These purple things are all different effects that I can use. The first thing I need to do though is I need to double click on here, 6/8. Then I need to go 75. How good's that? Then the next thing I need to do is I need to pull that MIDI in that I had in, which is always a good start. So I go File, Import, MIDI file. Do you want to create a new project? No, we don't. There's Gary Moore style ballad thing. And then we've got drums and keys. But what they've done is they've opened up in a program called Hallian Sonic that comes with Cubase. So this will be a piano, no doubt. Oh, excellent. We're loving them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to load in my drum track thing. So I'm just going to load an instrument track. I'm going to go drums, Superior Drummer, add that in, and I'm going to have it so the audio outputs are going to come out my drum bus. I've got a couple of drum kits that I can pick from. It's like a bluesy thing. See what kit, if I've got a kit already loaded up. It might seem a bit like mad looking for the kit, but what it does is, because it's a certain Irish gentleman, we want a kind of rocky kit. And the other thing I need to do straight away is click on the mixer, and I'm going to flip the stereo, because I, being a British lad, I like the drums as audience perspective. So all I'm going to do now is drag that MIDI track down onto here and have a listen to that. So that's alright. So what we've got going on there is the output of these is sent to this bus here that I've already got some treatment on. So I've got this Oxford native thing. If I turn that off, it goes a bit flat. And this limiter, this would be kind of secret weapon for keeping everything nice and loud and punchy in the mix. Normally set it to about -5. Alright, there's our other MIDI track come in. Have a quick look at that there. So this is an organ thing. I'll just click on Hallian Sonic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look for an organ, electric organ, and then So there's a purple child organ. Don't mind that, that's alright, it'll do for the time being. Right, what I need to do though is I need to go into, pop that off, I need to go into this, the output of this, this is the instrument here that's playing back. Click on my little editor and I'm going to send that in, instead of the stereo out, I'm going to send it to this little X thing here, X marks the spot, click on here, and we've got organ. Now what these buses are for, if I add all million channels of drums that I have there, I tell you what, we'll get rid of them. And what we'll see is it's a lot easier to navigate around there. And I've still got the thingy drums coming in here, which is lovely. Can lose that MIDI track. Nice to keep stuff nice and tidy as we are going along. Right. Here's some guitar tracks. Can't remember what guitar tracks we had. Let's have a look at what I'm pulling in. So, if I go to that folder, quick one there's open file location. There's the, I think it was new folder. And then what I can see here is I've got a lot of track. Let's shrink this in a bit. Chippy tea tonight, so I need to get a spark on. We do like a good chippy tea. Actually, round the corner where our John lives in Redcar is possibly my favourite chip shop sea breeze. Right, let's get the bass in. So you can see I've already got a bass thing here. I've got bass Sansamp on, but I've got no plugins in for it or anything yet. So the bass consolidated, drop that in. It's picked everything up from the beginning. Let's have a quick check of that. I'm using my controller here. So I'm just going to whiz back to the beginning. Loads of shortcuts for that, but if you've got a window open, they don't work. That's alright, right. We can see that we've got two tracks. Sometimes I might replicate that bass. Can't see me doing this on this Gary Moore-esque thing. I will just change that. I'm not going to get rid of that just in case. So here we can see I've got like bits of guitar things, and I'm going to rename these when I dump tracks in. So we've got the clean chords, consolidated, just drag that at the end, have a listen back to that. So make sure I've got nothing on there. Quite a nice sound that. What I'll do is, because I'm aware that I have, I think I have a DI of that as well. So clean chords DI. Yeah, what I'll do there is I'll bung them on this track here. Clean, fat fingers, chords DI. Whip them in. There's a nice big healthy level going in there, so it's just solo that. Oh yeah, you can hear that, right? Probably stick with that. So this rhythm guitar track is just set up ready to go to this bus here, and that's just so I can keep all my distorted guitars and things all, you know, on two separate. So say I had like 15 tracks of guitars, I can control all the rhythm guitars with this bit here, but we don't have 15 tracks of guitars, but we'll have the power chords in here. So I'll just duplicate that, duplicate it again, bin that, because what I want to do now is pull in there's like a power chords consolidated thing, power chords DI, put that underneath. Right, that's going to need moving to wherever in the track it was. Oh, there's the power chords all the way through. DI consolidated. I'm assuming that's all. That's the same thing. Tell you what, that wasn't very good, was it? So I've got a couple of different lead amp, gain consolidated, cling consolidated amp. That's them. Power chords, DI, lead, DI, consolidated. See what comes in on that. Right, because I've got a lead track that I call solo bits, I'll lose that. So there's already some effect on that, so let's set a little loop. Nice little long loop. Solo this. And what I'm going to do now is I've got an aux send into a delay, but what the plan is now is I'm going to pop in on an insert bias, because what I'm thinking with this is I'm not going to go through the whole reamping thing. I generally would, but we can already hear that's going through a jazz chorus. Oh, good guess. So we'll have Gary, our Gaz, in his Soldano mode. But what I've done is I've got rid of the cab that was on it. I'll go in and have a couple of tweaks with that, but I'm going to put our wall of sound on. So, pop on the wall of sound. We don't want a fridge on it. I'm going to guitar. Actually, turn the online one off. It just helps you navigate stuff a bit more. And it's a guitar, and it's a 412, and kind of like this Lynch Marshall thing. Have a listen to that. It just allows us to use two cabs at once, but we won't. We'll bin that off. So we just want this fella on. So what I can do now is I can change. There's the back of the cab. There's the front of the cab. The George Lynch ones, this moving the speaker, moving the microphone about, doesn't seem to do as much as some of the others. I'll just pop one on. I'll have a green back. So I'll pop that as a 57 on. Actually, I prefer that. Good level going in. Well, a lot of people don't get the levels as quite nice as we like. Right, I've got the two lots of clean chords here. I quite like the amp, so let's have a little work on that amp. Yeah, it just wants a bit of squashiness on it. So I've got the choice in Cubase of a vintage compressor, which is like an 1176. So I'll bring out more of the bottom end. I've just moved the mix back so some of the spiky bits of the will come out. That's screaming for chorus on it, that like. So what I'm going to do here is I have in my effects down here, I've got reverence on there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that. Instead of having a reverb on, I'm just going to put a chorus on. So what we have is we have this old Juno chorus thing. I need to add it to the track. So we do that via ascend, which is down the bottom. And number 7. Try and keep these the same. And we should see, now there's nothing coming in. What I've got to do is I've got to unsolo that. And there's our lovely, super sparkly, chorusy, guitar-y thing. I'm happy with that. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to faff about with, that's a technical term that we in the industry use all the time. Faff about. Have a faff about with the bass and the drum. So first off, let's have a little play with that bass. Some DI'd to me. Right, let's. I've already got some stuff on because it comes in there. A little bit of tape saturation's just warmed that bottom end up. Let's have it through. Let's go for a big fat Ampeg, I think. So I'll do this through my line 6. Click, 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 bass amps. There's a flip top, and it's rock classic. So I'm going to turn the cab off. Actually, I don't know. That doesn't sound bad, that. Let's get a dynamic mic on it. That's better. I don't mind that bit of grit. It's an Ampeg. You would expect that. It's the low mids gritting up there. So if we go back over here, what we have here is my little secret weapon for fattening stuff up. Right, we've already got that on. So I'm just going to remove that. But I've got Ultra Maximizer. Where would we be without an Ultra Maximizer? Let's have a look at this kit. Very quiet, isn't it? It's not like a quiet kit. So I'm using a bit of software called Superior Drummer. I'm going to click that on there. Nice. So what I can do now is I can get a bit more of the kind of room sound in the different outputs. For the purposes of this, I'm not going to send them out as separate outs. I've already got a kind of room thing set up, but what would be nice is that'll get eaten up by the track, all that. I think I like a different kick drum mic. It's a good, you know. So what we can do is we can change that to, if I go for a little bit more clicky. No, click the wrong one. No, I don't mind that. We're not going clicky at all, quite like that. Just get a bit more weight in that. We should have the sub. And what I'll do with that, I'm just going to shove a little bit of dynamics on. Where would the world be without the 1176? That's where we get that boom from. Try it with the bass. Right, this is what's called the tubus. I've got a couple of gizmos on here. So the track's all playing. I'm just gonna... And then I've got a... Listen from the top. Hear all that noise? Yeah, we don't want any of that. So I'm just gonna Captain shortcut here. It's not on these guitars, but this is good practice anyway. It's on this and here. So, just solo this. Quite a bit of high gain going on that. I think what we'll do is pop in here and pull the gain back a little bit, and we can always add a noise gate on. Quick look at these two, the clean rhythm, because there's a clean guitar there. There's like the DI. I'm just going to shove bias on there. Really, we're as good as done. I would send this to Mr. Client or Mrs. Client or whatever client we have these days. The irony is you'd bung a JC 120 on here, lovely, classic beauty cab, but it doesn't have any chorus on. So all I'm going to do is, just before it gets there, is I'm just going to put, I don't think I think I'm going to leave it clean. It gives us a blend. There you go. We could do some, just with this, with the width. Be nice if it was a little wider. Spooky horror film, class. Right, set me left and right locate. Oh, check the end for a fade. Right, let's get a little fade on these. We could live with a little bit of a little bit of rhubarb on that lead guitar. Tell you what, why not? Let's have that. Try that delay back on it. What I've done there is the top end's a little hard. That's just because that bias thing. If we'd reamped it and got a proper amp in, but Boogie needs loads of cash thrown at it for new valves, and I'm lazy. What was I doing there? Took a bit of top end off that. So a quick listen. The big speakers on. That sub that I put on earlier on, because I did through the little speakers, is just destroying the world. Tell you what I can't find. I can't find a hat on it. Let's just have a quick look, see if we have a hat. Yeah, definitely can't hear that. I just want to make sure that's assigned. It's there. And we have right bell and yeah. So what we want is we want to be able to see our little drum kit thing here. And when I go on the drums, I want to see that hat moving when I click on here, this bit here. Yeah, and that bell. Yeah. So what we need to do is, in our mixer, get them overheads up a bit. I'll come back here. Rough mix time, off to the client. Are you happy? Time for a cup of tea. Now then, you lovely people, just had a look through our John's video he's just sent over of the mix he's done, and somebody's forgot to put a crunchy guitar on. That'll be me. Right, so let's get crunchy guitar bunged in the mix, and I'll have another listen through it just as a little see where we're going. So I've got the project opened up behind. The reality of this, to be honest, is I would do a pass of the whole song and send it to the client first to make sure that I haven't missed something off. Just had a chat with somebody yesterday and explaining this to them. It's really important that people label everything up. John's done a really cracking job of this, labelling everything up nicely. So I'll look in the folder. We should find power chord, clean DI, put it on clean chords thing. It doesn't matter where we're going. let me consult my notes. Bar 32 comes to mind. Good guess. One of the cool things that we can do with these DAW things, and that is the voice of the patron, so I'll go around here today. Copy that first, select the channel, book that on there, paste that channel there, settings. But however, that's going to give us our clean sound. We're going to stay with the cab. I am, however, going to change the amp, and we'll have a go of one of them old GMP things. I've got a mate who's just bought a reissue thing of one of these. Need to get around and have a play with it, really. I think you've seen the bucket before. 69 Super Lead. Get rid of the cab because we've got a cab on. Bung it on now. Let's up the preamp even before we start, so we'll have a extra stage. Well, kind of. It saves us faffing about putting a tube screamer in front of it. Let's have a listen to that. So because I've copied that channel over, it'll have some of the channel priorities there, and it'll pop that to rhythm. Let's get rid of that organ while we have a play. Quite a good DI this, I mean, it's like one of the things that could be a massive hassle is if the DIs aren't very good, then you get the work off, or pumping in, pumping out. Quickest way to have a look at that is if I just go on the insert, that inside, and have a look at the input there. You're doing it, just hitting the red now and again is alright. Just pull that down a little bit, it's a little hot. I'm going to move this here, but I can see that's a little hot. We could do the analysis if one desired. We'll update you later on. There's the greenbacks. Moving this speaker, well, you could, but it wouldn't last very long as a speaker. This mic here, we can move where it is. Quite interesting, this, if you listen here. How dull it goes. How bright. So, I don't know whether I'll be diving into that. You need a lot of playing about before you start having a faff with this, but we've got a reverb that we can put on as well. Quickly check the compressor. Wondered why it wasn't working. You've got to have it turned on first. That solo's not loud enough at the end. Let's have a listen at the beginning. Had a few sherbets the other day, and I've had a tweak after listening back to the mix that we had a go up before. I found some anomalies with the bottom end on my tune, like another couple of tunes I've done. Let's have a look at this kick drum. Kick drum seems a bit light there. So it's a different kind of drum edit than you see in a lot of DAWs. This is most excellent. So I'm just going to drag this up. Right, there's no automation on this. This is what I would call a static mix. Definitely better than the other one. See if I've saved it. Oh, no, I haven't. Actually, this is why I'm doing this, because I forgot to render it off last time as well. So John's had the video, but he hasn't had the finished file. Anyway, there endeth the sermon. Have a lovely time for the rest of your day, unless it's right at the beginning, then go and have a nice big cup of coffee and get raring to go for your day. Bye! Missing you already!
That's how the professional does it. Now it's the turn of the cack-handed amateur. Okay, let's fire up Reaper. I've already got the project open here. And the first thing I'm going to do is run you through the tracks that I've got in this Reaper project here. Starting at the top here, this is the MIDI track for the drums. Then I've got the bass track there. Then we've got various guitar parts here. These are the clean chords that are basically the clean rhythm guitar part. Then I've got 3 lead guitar tracks here, which I've sort of shrunk down. When I originally did this kind of piece of music, it was to test out the differences between 3 different overdrive sounds. There was the lead channel on the Marshall DSL1, the ultra gain channel. Then the classic gain channel, but with a tube screamer in front of it, and then the classic gain channel again, just the regular kind of lower gain channel on the Marshall, but with a new X Horseman in front of it, so you can see basically it's the same melody played there, and there with 3 different types of overdrive. This track here is the MIDI track for the electric organ that comes in part way through, and then I'm using about halfway, well, about 2/3 of the way through, let's say, there's a power chord track there where I just kind of beef things up a little bit. And coming down to here, we've now got 3 guitar DIs. I basically took a DI straight into the interface when I was recording, so I was recording everything either as well as through the amp, just straight in, just a kind of dry guitar signal. So we've got the clean rhythm guitar part DI, we've got the power chords DI, and we've got the 3 different lead guitar parts that were up there were also recorded DI, and I stitched them all together onto this one consolidated DI lead guitar track there. For the purposes of consistency, I'm going to be using the DI'd lead guitar part and reamping it rather than, didn't mean to do that, rather than using these three different kind of different overdrive tones and trying to balance them out and stuff. We'll go for one kind of continuous guitar tone or amped tone on this DI track here. So let's run you through the plugins that I'm going to be using first of all. Excuse me. I do apologise, my allergies are really bad today. For the drums, I'm using this. This is a free download MT Power Drum Kit 2. It's free, but you get a nag screen, so I just donate, so I gave them a £5 and then it's free forever. And it's a fairly basic MIDI drum plugin. You got a mixer here where you can kind of mix the kit basically, and in here you've got loads and loads and loads of preset grooves, and as this piece of music is in 6/8 time at 75 beats per minute, I used some of these grooves. So you can see you've got a bunch of intros there, and closed hi-hat, closed half open hi-hat, ride, bell, crash, all kinds of different preset grooves that you can use, and I just cobbled one, a drum part together using those grooves, and that's basically what you can see up on that track there. So let me look at my notes. What I'm going to do, let's have a look at the other plugins that I'm using. For the electric organ here, I'm using the Euthymia electric organ. I also have a nice Electro Harmonix. Can't remember which one it is, but it's basically the where you play a guitar into it and it comes out sounding like an organ. But I wasn't playing particularly cleanly on this day, and I was having issues with tracking, so I ended up just using a plugin instead. And this is a real, again, free plugin, and it works really well. So let's start adding some more plugins. First thing I'm going to do is to add an amp onto this bass track here. So I'm going to go into Guitar Rig, just insert that onto this track. It takes a little moment to do that. And then we'll choose input sources, bass, and my kind of go-to bass tone in Guitar Rig is this clean plec bass, which you would think is going to sound good only on if you're using a pick, but it's a great sort of bass tone, and there's the components that are in that plugin, in that patch there rather. So we've now got a bass tone. Let's have a listen to what that sounds like. I'll just solo that track and we can hear what the bass sounds like. So you can hear there a nice kind of fat, warm bass sound. Then we've got the clean chords going through the amp. Let's have a listen to that. Might put a little bit of chorus on that. It kind of needs it, I think. So again, there are various choruses and stuff built into Reaper, but I just like the simplicity of Guitar Rig, so I'm going to throw a little bit of chorus on that. So we'll just go into Guitar Rig, Components, Modulation, and what better than the old Boss chorus ensemble. Let's see what that sounds like as we've just put it in there. That's a bit wobbly for my taste, so I'm just going to back this off a little. yeah, I'm happy enough with that. The other thing I like on pretty much every guitar sound that I record is a little bit of stereo width. So there's a couple of different ways I do that. For this, what I'm going to do is add a fantastic plugin here called Voxengo Stereo Touch, which is a free plugin. And, you know, if I just give you a little bit of that now, you can notice I've added it after the chorus that I used in Guitar Rig, and that is going to sound like this. Just adds that bit of stereo width to proceedings. What else do I need to look at here? Let's take a listen to the organ as well. So we'll just kind of solo that for the moment. Here we go. This is the organ kind of sound. You can see it's, if I go into here, that it's labelled as the Jimmy Smith sound, and there's various different, if I go into here, just widen this out a little bit, you can see that there's, you know, a bunch of different presets you can get in here, but the Jimmy Smith sound, which is the default one, is you know, as good as anything else. So let's just have a listen to that. Yeah, that works. Power chords. Let's have a listen to the power chords. As I say, we're going to be using the amped power chords here because I don't need to reamp them. The only one I'm going to reamp is the lead guitar part, and that sounds like this. There we go, you get the idea. Chunky power chords. I think that was the bridge humbucker on Blondie, my signature guitar, going into the classic gain channel on the Marshall. And then, as I say, we've got the various, you know, kind of DIs here. I'm just going to shrink the ones that I'm not using so I can kind of concentrate on the ones that I'm not going to be using, the DI power chords. So I guess the next thing to do really is think about the tone I'm going to use on this lead part. So once again, we're going to use Guitar Rig. I do have, as you can see, bias amp up here, but for some reason, even though I've paid for it and I've got a license for it, it just keeps, for some reason, defaulting to the trial version and cutting out. Not sure what's going on there. So I'm just going to go into amplifiers here. I tend to just use components in Guitar Rig rather than, well, for the bass I'll use a preset patch, but I'll tend just to use components and go from there. So we're talking Gary Moore here. This is the kind of tone that we're looking for. So Marshall is definitely the starting point, and you can see we've got a JMP, a Plexi, and a hot Plexi here. I'm going to go with that one, so we'll just put that in. And first of all, let's have a listen to what the DI'd guitar sounds like without that on. It sounds like this. Let's solo that track. And now let's throw the full Marshall on here, the hot Plexi, see what that does to the tone. Sounds pretty convincing to me. I think that's the one we're going to go with. A few other things to do, but those are the basic sounds mapped out. I've got to go and do some guitar lessons now, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, here we are back again, and the next task I'm about to get into is a bit more sort of stereoization of various parts of the track. You've seen already that on the clean chords I use this Voxengo Stereo Touch. basically I'm going to use another way of doing it now to get things into stereo. I'm going to start, I think, with the organ part. So what I need to do before that is I just need to insert another track here, which I'm going to label as organ. There we go, and I'm going to drag this track that has the organ MIDI on it down to beneath that track that I've labelled organ, and then I'm going to right click on that organ track, that track with the MIDI on it, and duplicate it. And then just by clicking here I created a folder, and these two tracks now are basically being fed into this organ track here. I'm going to pan this one all the way left, this one all the way right, and onto the right hand side. Doesn't matter which side you use, but I tend usually to do this on the right hand side just out of habit. Get rid of that. I'm going to add a little bit of auto double tracking. Basically this is a single repeat 35 millisecond delay with the dry signal turned all the way off. So essentially this track and this track are identical, but this one is happening 35 milliseconds after this one, and the panned left and right, they will basically give us a bit of stereo separation. Let's just solo this and have a listen to what that sounds. We'll hear it to begin with without the delay on, and that's going to sound like this. And then if I put the delay on, it's going to sound like this. Just gives it a little bit of stereo separation. The other thing I'm going to do with the organ is I'm going to get my money's worth out of Guitar Rig once again. There we go. I'm just going to throw like a Leslie cabinet on there. There's a great one in Guitar Rig. Because I'm using basically this on a stereo track now, I have to just kind of put it to like the input into stereo like that. And now that's going to sound like this. Which is just how I want it, really. So that's the organ turned into a stereo thing. Let's now add another track down here. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing with the power chords. I'm basically going to take the power chord track down to there. I'll just label this track here PC for power chords, and then once again duplicate the track that has the actual information on it, the audio on it, and put those into the folder like this, and then stick the delay, same auto double tracking delay on the right hand side one, or what will become the right hand side one after I've panned them. And then once again let's have a listen to what that sounds like without the delay. We'll just solo this this power chord folder. Without the delay it sounds like this. And with the delay it's going to sound like this. And then let's do the same thing on the lead guitar track. So the track that we had, if you remember, we used the Guitar Rig on there with a hot plexi sound. So add another track down here, and I'm just going to call this, just call it lead, I guess. And then drag the track that has the audio on down to below that. Right click and duplicate. There we go. Put those into a folder. Let's have a listen first of all what it sounds like without any delay. We'll just solo that. I'm going to say that that amp model in Guitar Rig is really rather good. So once again, pan left and right, and then we're going to add the delay once again. So here we go. I could use a delay that's in in Guitar Rig, but yeah, no, I just know my way around this one a little bit better. So there we go, and then let's have a listen to that. Now it's in, hopefully in stereo. So there we've got stereo guitars, stereo keyboards, and I think we're about ready to do a mix. So I'm going to go and make myself a cup of tea, or coffee probably, and come back and do that. Right, I'm suitably caffeined up. Let's start putting a mix together. First thing I'm going to do is any of the tracks which are not involved in the mix, like any of these lead guitar parts and these DI parts I'm not using, just mute those, so they're not going to be anything we need to worry about. Then let's go to the mixing console. A lot of people like to have the mixing console sort of down here, but I find it fiddly. I like to have it full screen. And next order of business is to tidy things up a little bit. So I'm just going to right click into here and untick the show tracks that are in folders, because I don't need to mess with the tracks that are in the folders. I can control them via the main folder fader. Already on the master bus here, we've got a couple of plugins. There's basically a little bit of compression, the stock master bus NY comp. I'm not sure what NY stands for. Is that something to do with New York? I don't know. I just know I like the way it sounds. And then this little free plugin again. We do like free plugins. Ferox, which is a magnetic tape simulator plugin, and I tend to have this usually set to analog overload. Excuse me. Which is adds a nice bit of warmth, and experience tells me I need the master fader kind of backed off quite a chunk there, because it really does push it a little bit. So I'm going to need reverb on a bunch of things here, so let's double click into here and add a reverb bus, which I shall just label reverb. There we go. And we're going to put this one on, this again, just one of the native plugins in Reaper, this room reverb that tends to be pretty much the main one I use. And we're going to route the drum track through that. And we're going to take the clean chord through that. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm unticking the master bus send and then putting it through the reverb tank. So essentially, like this, and well, these tracks that I've done that, like the clean chords one, that is now going to this track here, which has the reverb on it, which is then going to the master bus. Then moving along, we don't need to worry about these muted tracks. Let's stick some stick the organ through the reverb as well. There we go. Power chords. There we go. And lead, of course, needs a big kind of reverb on it. It's not that big, it's just a room reverb, but you know what I mean. Then, as I'm thinking on my feet here, it would be rather nice for when the power chords kick in there, for like the accompaniment to sort of widen out a little bit and get all sort of panoramic, if you like. So I'm going to put a pan envelope on the power chords. Let's just widen that out a little bit there. And the power chords are at that point, well, as soon as they come in, are going to be 50% to the right. And then if we do the same thing on the organ track, just to add an envelope there, and at this point here where the power chords kick in, let's add a point and then another one after it, and widen this out like this, and let's take the organ 50% to the left, so it's just all going to get big and wide sounding at that point. Back to the mixing console, let's solo the bass and drums. Experience again tells me roughly where I need to start with those faders, and let's hear what they sound like. There we go. I will just mention, by the way, that it is, for boring, technical, complicated reasons, it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to kind of play the audio of the mix as I'm mixing it in this video. So you're just going to be hearing it coming down the vocal mic there, but you will hear the full mix at the end, and that sounds pretty close to where I want it to be. Let's add those clean chords. That'll do. Then when the organ comes in, we're going to need to make sure that's not getting ridiculous loud. So let's... Yep, I can live with that. And then when the power chords enter, let's see what that's going to sound like. I'm happy with that. And now let's bring the lead in. So back to the beginning of the track. That's pretty good there. What happens, let's kind of just, what I like to do is then sort of go to the loudest part of the track, which is where the power chords and everything are, and make sure that everything is still hunky-dory. Yeah, at that point there, it could probably do with a little bit of a lift. So you can mess around with the faders, but it's just much easier to do it via an envelope. So insert a point here. Let's widen it out a little bit and insert a point here. I'll just bring the volume envelope up a little bit there. Let's see what that's like. Well, that's a little bit too much of a lift. Just needs just that little bit of a boost to get it over and above everything else. And you know what? I think I'm going to call that finished. So let's go to, no, I want to read the envelopes, don't I? Go back to the mixing desk, and at this point, via the magic of the edit, I'm going to insert the finished audio so you'll hear exactly what it all sounds like. And, well, here we go. Right, well, if you've stuck around to this point in the video, nearly an hour and 20 minutes in, a massive, massive thank you. You've helped me out greatly with the YouTube algorithm there. And of course, a massive, heartfelt thank you to Steve for all of the work that he's put into this project. Couldn't have done it without him. He's done it as a favour to me, and you know, it's just the time and effort that he's put into this is truly above and beyond the call of duty. Thank you, Steve. You are a star. As well as the that intro solo that we heard over an hour ago. That if you remember that one, you know, the clip of me playing it and the jam track and the tab and all that sort of stuff. I will also put the tab of that piece that we've just heard, that mix there. You've had this already if you're one of my Patreon supporters, but to save you digging for it, I'll put the video of me playing that and all the tabs and everything for that in the Patreon installment for this video. Once again, there's the address on screen, link in the description. A massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below. And this video has gone on long enough now, so we're going to wrap it up there. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 p.m. UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitar. What is not to like about that, I ask you? Fantastic way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.